Welcome back to the third episode of Today in History with Mr. Lavin.
Hi.
Let's start with the last week's history mystery.
Well, if you remember, the history mystery last week, or 2 weeks ago, Brady, was about the German V-2 rocket, the first ballistic missile used. I think it reached an altitude in its first test flight of almost 53 miles. The question was, what did the V in V-2 stand for? Did it stand for victory? Did it stand for vengeance? Did it stand for vertigo?
Well, I know the answer, but let's reveal it to our watchers.
Well, the correct answer is V was for vengeance.
Yes.
On this date, 1765, the Stamp Act Congress convened in New York, and it drafted a series of petitions and grievances sent to Parliament to repeal the Stamp Act, which was the first direct British tax on the colonies of North America, and which the Americans saw as taxation without representation. On this date in 1781, on the Yorktown Peninsula, the British Army under General Charles Lord Cornwallis surrendered to an American-British force, and it brought basically the military part of the American Revolution to an end. Peace talks started within the next year. On this day, 1959, the actress Patty Duke, who was only 12 years old, got the lead role in a play, The Miracle Worker, about the life of Helen Keller, and the play had 700 performances on Broadway before it finally came to an end, and then was made into a movie. And on this day in 1962, a Friday, just like today is, President Kennedy came to Springfield on a political tour for the upcoming congressional elections. I was a junior in high school. I was jogging out on West Washington Street, pre-basketball training. It was about 3:45 in the afternoon, and President Kennedy's airplane flew over us as it left Capitol Airport in Springfield. 3 days later, he was on national television announcing the presence of Russian missiles in Cuba, and it was the beginning of the Cuban Missile Crisis. 3 days earlier, his airplane flew over me out on West Washington Street. I felt like I was always a part of history. And that's what happened today, October 19th.
That's very fascinating. What is the history mystery for this week?
The history mystery for this week, and I really didn't have it planned, was when President Kennedy went to Chicago that night, Friday, October the 19th, his aides in Washington called him and said, "You have to get back here. We can't keep this secret about these missiles from the public much longer. This is going to get out. You got to get back here." What excuse did the president give for going back to Washington, D.C. and cutting short his trip to Chicago? Was it A, he was going to get married? Was it B, that his wife was going to have a baby? Or was it C, that he was suffering from a nasty head cold?
Well, we'll answer that question on next time, on the next episode of Today in History with Mr. Lavin. See you guys next time. Well, that was this episode of Today in History with Mr. Lavin. We'll have the history mystery up on our Twitter, probably right here, there. And we'll see you guys next time.